Despite his apparent interest in the Tottenham job, I'm thinking Julian Nagelsmann is a pretty smart guy, and the reports that are coming out about his decision-making process back that up. We're going to talk about that and more here on Stoppage Time at Pints and Punditry. Welcome back to Stoppage Time here at Pints and Punditry, and yes, I took a little dig at Tottenham on the intro, and yeah, sometimes the low-hanging fruit is just there. But really, this is about Julian Nagelsmann and the thought process that is going into his decision to pick his next club. And he has had a few options, and he has the option to say no to all these clubs and wait for a better choice if that's what he wanted to do. But I love the thought process that's going into his decision. Before we dive into that, hit that subscribe button for me down below. Like the video while you're at it. Follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM, and definitely chime in the comments. I would love to get your thoughts here. The report I'm talking about is that Nagelsmann will not commit to Tottenham until Daniel Levy decides what's going to go on with their technical director position. They got rid of Fabio Patrici, and the position's currently vacant. And they're going after Lee Dykes, who's currently the Brentford technical director, and they're thinking about replacing, filling that position with him. Now, is that the guy Nagelsmann wants or not? I would imagine if Levy is looking at Dykes that he has it on some good authority that that's a guy Nagelsmann wants to work with. But this is now the second time in the last week or so that we've seen Nagelsmann basically hit pause on interest in him from another job because he wants to know who he's working with. He did the same thing at Chelsea and basically told them, I'm not going to take a job with you until you tell me who your director of football operations or whatever you want to call it there is going to be. Who's going to be between me and Todd Boehly helping me figure this mess out? Who's going to be in charge of the scouting, the acquiring players, the overall team building strategy? And Nagelman's brilliant for this because that can be the downfall of a manager, as we've seen at Chelsea. Is the roster assembly and the issues going on there, and particularly in a place like Chelsea where you've got a strong presence like Todd Boehly, who's just making crazy decisions. You need some sort of voice of reason in the room, and until Nagelsmann knows who that is, he's not going to sign up to be that coach, and I totally agree with this. So often we see coaches who are just dying to get back to that opportunity, and they jump at the first chance that they get, particularly when it's a big club like Chelsea and Tottenham to a little bit of a lesser extent, but that's still a traditionally Big Six Premier League club. That's a very, good-looking job. That is a destination type job for a lot of coaches, and having just gotten fired by Bayern, Nagelsmann has to be sitting there, and I've mentioned this before, he's got to be sitting there saying, how many more big jobs am I going to get an opportunity at before I have to go take a lesser job to sort of prove myself? And he's a smart guy, so he's got to know that this may be his last chance to just slide into one of these big jobs. So he's not going to go to Chelsea and he's not going to go to Tottenham unless he knows who he's working with. Clearly, he doesn't have complete faith in Daniel Levy, and that also makes him a smart guy because the moves that have happened at Tottenham over the past few years really have not set them up well. And they've been running through managers, and they've been running through players, and the roster build has not made a lot of sense. It's not at Chelsea levels, but it's not good. And so he wants to know, what's the plan, guys? That's basically what he's saying here. What's the plan, and who's going to be in charge of the plan? Because I want to know that I've got some say, and I want to know that there's some sort of logic and logical consistency behind how we're going to build this team and build it around my needs. So the report that came out is that Tottenham and Daniel Levy are looking at Dykes from Brentford as the replacement for their vacant position, and that Nagelsmann is not going to sign anything until either that happens or something else happens so he knows who he's going to be working with and what goes into that position. And I think that's just brilliant. That's the sort of thing that makes me want Nagelsmann as a coach for my team if I had a coaching vacancy, because at least it's a thought process. It's not just we're going to come in and do this my way and some of these old school guys. It's I want to know what the thought process is. Want to know who's a part of it. I want to know what we're building here, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Somebody's going to get a good manager in Julian Nagelsmann. Bayern lost a good manager in Julian Nagelsmann because they were too impatient. And if the right club hires him and surrounds him with the right people and does this the right way, they could have a coach for a long time. I'm rooting for that to happen somewhere. We'll see where it happens. I would love to hear your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is he being a brat? Is he making this all about him? Is this an ego thing? Or is he really thinking this through and doing this the right way? I would love your comments. Fill up that comment section below. Hit the like button for me if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and definitely go follow us on Twitter at TotalFIFACM. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry. This is Total FIFA Career Mode.